Welcome to True Tempo. Today I am taking the temperature on metagames. I'm gonna talk a bit about how to understand and how we perceive different metagames and how it's kind of complicated to navigate understanding the metagame you're facing with different tools. And so basically we have paper magic. That's one thing. Then we have Magic Online premier events like challenges that occur in the weekends mostly. Then we have Magic Online leagues, and then we have like typical ways of accessing data. Well, we can start by paper magic. You know your local game store, and maybe you know like who shows up at the bigger events in your region. So you might have a feel for the local metagame. My hunch is always that you find more control in paper than in like the Magic Online current metagame. Usually because like control is a popular deck. Also a deck like Mono Black I always meet in paper and almost never on Magic Online. And then beyond that, of course, the trends of Magic Online you'll find in paper as well, but it's not the same thing. Especially a deck like Oops, you won't find as much in paper. But then in front of us we have the goldfish percentage points of decks, like the metagame from the last 7 days, as perceived by goldfish. And goldfish they use challenge and challenge top eights, league 5-0s, and uploaded paper events, which is a bit random who uploads to goldfish and who doesn't, as far as I understand at least. And and so that's usually the tool I use because it's the easiest. But well, since I'm playing mostly leagues at the moment, it fits pretty well with the metagame because leagues take up a big part of this way of understanding the metagame. But if you're playing in challenges, it might not be the same deal. I'm gonna bring up a picture from my friend Andreas Ecobaronen's Monday metagame videos. This is the analysis he made. I'm sure you're acquainted with his videos and you see them already. If not, you should. I think they're great for understanding the trends of legacy. And so here you see, which is the other theme of this short video, a bunch of these Tron decks. The new Tron deck, which is playing the Ursatron lands alongside Planar Nexus and Ursus Saga and Ursus Workshop. So this is the go big kind of the deck that replaced Forge in the last couple of weeks and seems to be winning a lot more than Forge has been doing. So like the big difference is playing 4 of this Ugin. Awful, it's very nice. It's just the bane sometimes of my my match career. It's a great card, but anyways, this deck is very is winning a lot. It's being played a lot in challenges, but we don't find it here in any of the top. What is it? 15 decks. So it's below like that percentage, below 1.8. But here it's like 12% or something. Like 4.8 copies of a deck is 10%, and we have 6. So you can do the math, but it's around 12%, I think. And the most played deck in the winners metagame, let's call this the winners metagame challenge winners, alongside sneak attack. So that coincides with sneak attack being the second most here. It's not too far away in percentage points. But what about Demir Tempo? This is super high, well, relatively high. It's the most played deck. It's been like this for a long time in the Goldfish data set. But here it's only 3 copies, so it's like what 6 or 7%, something like that. It's a far away from 17%. Now these periods are not exactly the same. These last 7 days and these 7 days are not exactly the same, but it's close enough. I think that that it's not going to make a huge difference. I might be wrong, but that's definitely an insecurity. But my point is that when you look at the Goldfish metagame from a standpoint of playing Tempo, which is always my perspective, playing Izzet Delver, which is, by the way, almost always around 5%, even though the deck is winning. Sorry, losing. It's not winning. When you look at the stats, it's around 43%. Is for the last couple of months. So it's one of the most played decks that lose a lot. But I think people just continue to play it, like me, because they have an idea that they can find the key to the metagame, or because they just enjoy the way the deck plays. But anyways, playing Izzet Delver in a world of Orcish Bowmaster is tough, because you have to, with your 75, like be able to beat this tough matchup. Also, something like Eldrazi lands, which are tough matchups. You can't sleep on Graveyard Hate for Oops. You can't sleep on Sweepers for the Cat's Energy. You're well set up against Sneak and Show, but you can't cut those Pyroblasts that you have. Like, that's the reason for playing Izzet Delver, but still, it takes up space in the sideboard. And like Doomsday and Storm are also like they're fine matchups, but you still need to have those like slots in the sideboard to address like some fair number of consigns and force of negations and so on. So when you have to address Dimir Tempo and these different kind of combo decks plus Chalice and Energy going wide, it's a bit tough with Izzet Delver. You can easily handle that with Dimir Tempo. But then, what if we look at this metagame? This is different. We only have like a smaller percentage points of Bowmaster. So from a Delver, let's even say the actual card Delver, but Izzet Tempo, from the Izzet perspective, it's not a big part of the metagame. But we have all of this combo. This is also a combo, Balustrade Spy. The Oops deck is a combo deck where Force and Daze will be good. We have this Tron deck, which I think we can easily build a deck to beat. We have to respect it, but it's in our kind of the decks we want to be playing against, because it's weak, sort of weak to Wasteland. But I find it easier to play against a deck like this than Eldrazi, because Chalice can, and the aggression of the deck can beat you. Wasteland is not always enough, and so on. The artifact deck, the blue artifact deck, is it's not an easy matchup, but I think we have all the tools in Izzet. I'm happy like building my deck with the metagame with this artifact deck and Tron and so on. So like the tough matchups, classic tough matchups, we don't see a lot of those for Izzet Delver. Like Dimir, Control, but for me it's only up to Beanstalk, like green Control, that I find hard. Other kinds of control we can beat with Pyroblast and Flow State and so on. And then some creature decks are tough, but and Eldrazi, but I see a lot of good matchups that we can build towards. So that means that Izzet Delver might be a bad choice in this metagame and a good choice in this metagame. And maybe when you play a challenge in the early rounds, you'll have this, but if you start winning, you'll be facing this. So that's kind of it's a bit like back in the days with GPs where you had to beat a kind of mixed bag of decks to get to day 2, and then the day 2 metagame would be like this challenge top 8 metagame, like only the known decks more or less. And yeah, it's an interesting point, I think, that you have to be aware of when you're choosing decks. I think that this analysis kind of shows that it's not a stupid choice to play Izzet Tempo at the moment. I'm going to show you a couple of like possible deck lists. This is actual Delver, which I think is like the best version of Delver if you want to beat up on Tron and other combo decks, but it's worse against Bowmasters, of course, than if you're playing Otters, where you can activate or trigger the Otter in response to a Bowmaster ping, thereby saving it. And so a card I want to just showcase that I haven't tried yet, but I'm eager to try is Price of Freedom. So this is from Avatar, and I think all the Izzet pilots read the card with interest when it was spoiled, but a few people have played it, and I also felt like it wasn't good enough so far. But now, with this Tron deck being really at the top of the metagame, I saw the challenge last night had 4 in the top 8, 3 in the top 4. So it's definitely popular and winning, and this card can yeah, it's like a sinkhole. They don't play basics. Sinkhole with draw a card attached to it. You can also shoot a candelabra if that's better. If you're playing against Eldrazi, you can either shoot a land or a chalice, which is awesome. Even though they have a wastes that might be worth it. It gives us more tools to beat these decks that are playing strong lands, including Urza's Saga. And even though like some decks have adopted Petrified Hamlet, I noticed that the Tron decks in the top 8 from yesterday didn't, or they don't. But still, you wanna like it's tough against a deck like that where you really want to shoot all of their lands all of the time. That means that you're not necessarily saving a wasteland for their Urza's Saga, which you can then lose to easily. So you might not lose to their Ugin, but to their Saga, because you used all your wastelands. And this means that we have a bunch more kind of wasteland single effects. It's a sorcery, so it enables flow states, and we can get it back if we're playing Mystic Sanctuary or Stormchaser's Talent. So I think that's one way of attacking like that metagame. Another way is just playing 4 consigns, and that might be better for sure. I just like that this also gives us outs to Chalice. So that's a thing that I'm gonna try. Otherwise, if you're playing Dimir, I think you should be aggressive. And this Moonshadow deck, I played a league with that went well. I won all the games. It's not my build, but it's INF who made the main deck, and I changed. I push. Snowfall became a push, and then the sideboard is probably a mess. You shouldn't look. Well, you can look, but that's not the point. I haven't worked on this for the actual metagame. But I think if you want to be playing Dimir, this is an aggressive choice, which is great. Being aggressive and then having flow state on top to get back some cards while the opponent is on their feet or not on their feet, whatever. Yeah, so I just want to show also a version of Prowess that I would like to try. playing 4 flow states, 2 cutter, 2 Murktide, cutting a days, but also trying Price of Freedom. Anyways, I think those 3 are very good choices in the metagame. But if you're playing in the kind of league metagame, I'd say Dimir Moonshadow is the most is the safer bet. Yeah, so that was all I had for this week. Have a nice weekend and good luck at the tables.